sometimes we do hold on to things that does not serve us, makes us feel frustrated, repeat in our head. It's a repetition in our head, a rumination of some sort about something that is beyond our control. It's not even our responsibility. We just don't want to experience, we don't want to see others perhaps experience that, and we're trying to solve it, but we don't have the solution. And even if we did have the solution, someone else's might or something might not be able to use that solution. And it's pointless to hold on to that energy, hold on to those thoughts, and keeping and making that our responsibility and suffering. It's unproductive, unhealthy. We don't feel good, and we start even to feel a little annoyed for that situation, thing, or even, let's say, situation and thing to be in our experience, because it does not belong to us. And we are holding on tight in the hope that we come up with a magical solution so that that thing can just disappear, so that we can feel better. But first of all, let's recognize that we are ruminating ourselves. So what's the purpose and function of these thoughts? And allow the answer to come to you. Now, is this my responsibility? Am I responsible for solving this? Let's try another question. Is this within my control? Is this for me to experience? Is this for me to live? Do I want this in my life? No. The answer just gives you some insight. However, in order, if you wish to hold on to it, then do so. If you wish to let go, let's see if you can let go, at least physically, okay? And reminding ourselves to let go each time the thought comes to our mind and head. And trusting that the solution will come to us. If we need to face and solve and resolve, then let's have the courage to do that, to learn, to address, to solve and resolve. And if there's something we can do, let's also have the courage and fear and be humble to help solve, resolve. And if there's nothing we can do, or our attempts are getting on the way or making things worse, and is behind our control, then we need to let go. And if we are on this third, well, we need to let go, because in this moment there's nothing we can do or want to do, because sometimes we can do, but we don't want to. And then we say that we can't do anything, can't do anything. But we actually are choosing. In this moment, I choose to do nothing. In this moment, I choose to let go. In this moment, I choose to pay attention to something else. And sometimes we can have conflict of values. Being supportive versus not being there. And while we value being supportive, we also value feeling good and feeling healthy. And each time we have to acknowledge, while I value being helpful, while I value that others feel good, while I value being there for others, I also value feeling healthy, having enough energy to deal with my own things and challenges. And while I'll do my best to be there, and I'll be there when I can, sometimes I also need to be there for me. And I will choose and make a decision on each and given time. Am I able to be flexible in being there, or do I need to be here for myself? So it's not going to be a black and white. It could be a middle sort of road, grey area, where sometimes I can be and sometimes it's best if I am not. And then I can choose in each given time what I can do and cannot do without feeling the pressure to always being there against not wanting to be there, or not being the time to be there, or not being helpful. A little bit confusing. So conflict of values are a little bit uncomfortable, but we have to acknowledge and we have to make peace with the discomfort of the moment so that we make the decision that is most rational, that best fit each and every given situation. If we have a little bit more capacity and we think will be helpful and productive, and if we have a little less capacity physically, mentally, emotionally, then we can be honest with ourselves and others. I'd like to be there for you, but I can only be there in these circumstances, and then setting up our boundaries for ourselves and others so that we both feel good and we don't walk away from a situation feeling worse and also resenting, because that's a form of frustration and anger. So we've identified if we can do something, and we will. We've identified if it is best to leave it alone, and we also identified if it is outside of our control and when we can and cannot be there. Now we're going to move on to letting go when the time is needed, when the moment is needed, such as you could be getting ready and in that moment having those unproductive thoughts going around your head is not helpful, because then you don't feel good. If you don't feel good, you don't engage in good, healthy, logical behaviors or actions, and then you start feeling frustrated and blaming instead of taking responsibility. It is my thoughts, it is my responsibility to manage these thoughts instead of blaming. If you did not share this and this, if you did not do this and this, if you did not live this and this, I wouldn't have to observe, I wouldn't have to hear, and I wouldn't have to feel. So it is for us to create that boundary and knowing the difference between our problems and our responsibility and someone else's problems and responsibility. And while we are compassionate and try to be compassionate and understand and be helpful, sometimes we have to know when we can help and when we can't, what we can do and what we can't do, what we choose to do and what we choose not to do. And if we are choosing in this moment to let go, because we want to do something else with our energy, we want to feel better, we want to feel good, we want to feel productive, then we can choose to let go of something that is behind our control, of something that we cannot choose, of something that we're trying to solve that we cannot solve, therefore being outside of our control. So let's let go. We've got this rope and we're holding on tight, and we want to have a magical wand and zoop, 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 and make it disappear. But reality doesn't happen, it does not disappear. Given time, things will modify and change and fall into its natural place, but while we go through that period of time, it just simply is there. And sometimes it's more in our mind than it is in reality. So, go rope, and we're gonna let go, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. Physically move your body to release that uncomfortable energy of frustration, unfairness, annoyance. Okay, so I'm holding on to it. I'm thinking it's my responsibility. It's outside my control. So rope, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. Repeat yourself. Repeat the words let go to remind your brain to let go of that hook, that repetition. Let go, 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 let go. And now let's connect with our heart and our belly. Notice the breath. Perhaps it's quickened with the movement. Let's take a breath into the belly and slowly out. If you have physically moved, you might hear your heartbeat. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's have another go. This time join in if you haven't joined in the first time. Let go, 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 let go. And notice how your body shakes. Notice your breathing in and out. Notice the sound of your breath. Take a breath into the belly and slowly out. Breathe through your nose and out of your nose. Do you need another round, another shake? Let's go one more time. Let go, 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 let go. Notice the heart, notice the breathing. Notice the sounds it makes. Take a full breath into the belly. And let go. Raise your heart, your arms up. And let go. Let go through your mouth and through the shoulders and through the body. Breathe in, stretch. Let go. Breathe in, stretch. Let go. Breathe in, hold. Let go. Okay. Let's send some loving and healing and compassion for ourselves, others, and circumstances. Breathe in. Breathe out. Love and healing and compassion for ourselves, our suffering, others' suffering, and the circumstances which are not ideal. Breathe in. Breathe out. We're going to allow trust to come into our minds and body. and trust that we are going to be okay. And they are going to be okay, and circumstances are going to fall into the natural state. Breathe in, trust. Let go. And trust that things will fall into place. Gonna let go of our need to resolve things so that we can feel better. Yes, when we can resolve, we do resolve, but sometimes we are unable to resolve because the problem does not reside with us. It's not for us to take the action. It's not for us to make the changes. It's not for us to live and experience it. And while we can be there for others, we also need to be there for ourselves. And we need to know in what way, what capacity we can be there. In a way that is helpful to them, the situation, and us. We know our own limits. And we can let go of the need to be accepted and loved, and the fear of rejection and retaliation if our action and choice is not approved by others or the circumstances. Let go of that fear, let go. Breathe in. And breathe out. I choose to take responsibility for my actions. Breathe in. Breathe out. Notice how you feel in this moment. Allow stillness. Invite it in. Allow it to stay. Allow your breath to rise and fall naturally. Invite peace. Allow trust to stay a little longer. Welcome playfulness. Let go yourself, let yourself go off the hook, and others off the hook, and circumstances off the hook. Take a full breath into the belly and out. I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to have the solutions. Others don't need to be perfect and have all the solutions. Circumstances do not need to be perfect. Breathe in. Breathe out. It is what it is. Breathe in. Breathe out. May I be free from my suffering. May you be free from your suffering. Breathe in. Breathe out. Notice your breath rising and falling naturally. Notice the sound. Notice the movement of your breath. Choose to let go and rise above. Choose to find calm and peace. We choose to let go. Now, I do hope that you are feeling a little bit lighter, hopefully, a little bit better, hopefully too. Focus on the areas that you can control, so we can do something about it, and let go and trust the rest. Knowing when it's time to do something and when it's time to let go. And checking in each given time, is this a good use of my energy? While we want to be compassionate and be there for others, and can choose and should choose to be there at times, there are moments where we need to be there for ourselves. And being uncomfortable with the unknown, the uncertainty. It is what it is. I don't know if things will be okay. I don't know what the outcome will be. And I need to make peace with it. I need to make peace with it. But usually things always end up turning the way they need to turn. And that radical acceptance. Sometimes it is us to solve the problem, and sometimes we all benefit from a bigger resolution, a bigger solution, something else. If you don't want to appear on the video, don't come in, because I'm not deleting. Okay. Okay. So, are we choosing to hold on to it or let go? Are we choosing to do something in this moment? Or are we choosing not to do something in this moment? Are we choosing that we'll be there when we can, and when is right, and when is the right time, and a helpful way? So we have a choice in terms of when and how, and the things that we can control. And outside of those times, let go. Love from my heart. A big compassionate hug. Let go of trying to solve what's outside of your control, but to focus your energy in the things that you can solve and resolve. So feel more empowered, and then have more capacity to give to ourselves and others if needed be. Others make a bigger deal, and we make a bigger deal. So we are all human beings that are unperfect. Let's focus on the good things for now. Bye bye.